The former French president, Nicolas Sarkozy, he was in court the other day, and they basically handed him, or rather confirmed, a 2021 High Court decision to give him 3 years of prison, 2 of them basically, out the window, and he only really spends 1 year in prison at home with an ankle bracelet. And this is from one of 3 corruption cases, which are very important, not because I'm, a fangirl of Nicolas Sarkozy. Quite on the contrary, it's in regards to Libya. Let me show you what's going on. So here, the first case, basically, Sarkozy and his lawyer Herzog had, a secret telephone line taken out, and the other 2 official lines that Sarkozy had were bugged by investigators. Okay, so Nicolas Sarkozy and Thierry Herzog had formed a quote-unquote corruption pact with a judge, right, with Gilbert Azibert, to obtain and share information about a legal investigation. So they were basically trying to corrupt a judge and spy on this investigation. And the court found him guilty in 2021, and now the other day they just confirmed the sentence. The one I just told you about is called Paul Bismuth, right? So that's the nickname for it, because it's the fake name that Nicolas Sarkozy used to register the third phone line, Paul Bismuth. Now the second case is the Bimalion case, and he got 1 year in prison in the lower court, and he's going to appeal that this year in November. Okay, so basically, what he did is he spent nearly double the legal limit on his lavish 2012 re-election campaign, and he used false billing from a public relations firm under that name. And now we get to the third one, which is the one I wanted to highlight and talk about. So in 2007, when Nicolas Sarkozy ran for president in France, he went to Colonel Gaddafi, to Libya's leader, and he asked him for money several times, and he gave him that money. Gaddafi gave him that money. So this case here, basically, financial crimes prosecutors are saying that Sarkozy and 12 others should face trial over allegations they sought millions of euros in financing from the regime, right, of then Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi for the ultimately victorious campaign. Sarkozy is accused of corruption, illegal campaign financing, and concealing the embezzlement of public funds. So I find this disgusting, because their problem is that he received Libyan money. But they have no problem with the fact that he stabbed Gaddafi in the back. He stabbed the people of Libya in the back. He went and bombed and destroyed Libya in 2012, along with NATO. They have no problem with this, right? The war crimes that they committed in Libya. Look at the state of Libya. Libya still hasn't even begun to recover. Most people in Libya, just like most people in Iraq and most people in Syria, wish they could go back to 20 years ago. Not because it was nice or particularly perfect, but because it was so much better than how it is now and how it is currently. That just to again put that in perspective, and put that in context. The situation in Libya, they have no stable government. You have tons of people leaving from Libya towards Europe and from other African countries going through Libya towards Europe. Because why? Because they're fleeing European colonialism, European neo-colonialism, and these neocon wars, which is completely normal and the logical thing to do. But think of how devastating Europe and the West have been to Africa, that people leave their friends, their family, they leave everything that they know behind and risk drowning in the Mediterranean Sea just to get away from that situation. Like that is a stain on the West's history. And the slave trade that you have going on in Libya. Libya was a paradise under Gaddafi compared to what it is now. It was a fucking paradise, and they destroyed it. And this disgusting, backstabbing thief, Sarkozy, not only took the money, he took the money from Gaddafi, 5 million euros, and then he stabbed him in the back. He bombed him. And do you know why he did that? He did that because he was afraid of Gaddafi and his plan to make an African currency. So just like Europe has the euro, Gaddafi wanted an African dinar, a golden dinar. You know what's so controversial about that? America has the dollar. Most of Europe has the euro. Why shouldn't Africa have their own currency that they control, backed by their gold and their resources, and selling their resources in their African dinar, their golden dinar? Why shouldn't they? This was Gaddafi's plan. Gaddafi was pro pan-Arabism. So in the Muslim and the Arab world, and he was pro Pan-Africanism. Coming together either as one country or working as one entity, one establishment. In order to take back control of their money, of their resources that Europeans have been plundering for hundreds of years, and enslaving people. Gaddafi is against all of that. Just like Africa is against all of that. But Gaddafi, he went quote unquote too far. There's that email from Hillary Clinton with her advisor when they're talking about, Gaddafi has 144 tons of gold. The French are aware that he wants to use this to back this new currency. And why do you think the French are so particularly invested in stopping that? It's because 14 countries in Africa, if you look at their money, at the banknotes, you would think, well, these are different currencies from different countries, but they're not. They're all printed, minted, and controlled by France. At the end of the day, France controls the currencies and the monetary policy of 14 African countries. That is colonialism. Maybe you can call it neo-colonialism. I don't care. It's the same thing. Because France never really left, right? If they do things like this, how do they ever leave? It's another form of slavery. It's another form of control. Europeans, stealing, thieving, killing, enslaving, plundering Africa as usual. It's really disgusting. It's really disgusting. And so they killed him because if they had gone through with the African golden dinar, the US dollar would be weaker. And the French CFA franc, which is the name of this currency that I just told you about, which they have in 14 African countries, le CFA franc, finito, bye-bye. France would suddenly lose their control over these countries' economies and their monetary policy. And so they killed Gaddafi. That's why Sarkozy bombed Gaddafi and destroyed Libya, till now. They've never recovered. And that's why Hillary Clinton and NATO bombed Libya. And the fact, honestly, the fact that Russia and the UN Security Council allowed this is so disgusting, really. It's so disgusting because that was basically the go-ahead for the West to come in and go wild. I don't know what the Russians were thinking, if they thought that, well, it wouldn't be so bad or something. It's none of your business, if Gaddafi rules Libya or doesn't rule Libya. It's not your business, It's nobody's business. It's Libya's business. It's the Arab world's business, Africa's business, but it's not Europe's business. It's not NATO's business. It's not Russia's business. They have no right to talk about him, to kill him, to oust him from power. And I don't know if this is true, so don't quote me on this, but I've read some reports that the person who shot dead Gaddafi, he put 2 bullets in Gaddafi's head, was actually working for French intelligence. I don't know if this is true, and it doesn't matter whether it's true, even if it's not true. Did France bomb Libya? Yes. Did they destroy Libya? Yes. Did Sarkozy stab Gaddafi in the back? Yes. I mean, what a disgusting low-life rat. He should be facing it. Look, man, if Putin has a warrant out for his arrest from the ICC, then you gotta do it for Sarkozy. Come on, man. Like, what these people did to Libya is way worse. Way worse. So why doesn't the International Criminal Court actually prosecute war criminals? We have tons of them in Europe. Tons and tons. David Cameron was also at the time, helping to destroy Libya. We have tons of war criminals. Putin is the least of our fucking worries. Why don't we go after the war criminals? Why doesn't the ICC do its job? All they do is go after African leaders and then leave the European white ones alone. Funny, right? Double standards, triple, quadruple standards, right? So the fact that the French court is giving Nicolas Sarkozy a slap on the wrist, 1 year with an ankle monitor, ankle bracelet. Jesus Christ, man. If that was somebody else, they would have gotten way more. And I'm not saying that you should punish people like crazy and send them to a penal colony in the Pacific like the French used to do. I'm not saying that. I'm saying treat people, give them the same leniency and mercy that you give corrupt criminals like Nicolas Sarkozy, who doesn't even deserve it, who doesn't give a crap to repent. These people have no, they have no conscience. They have no soul. They have no moral compass. They have no values. They are murderers of the worst kind. Nicolas Sarkozy, especially taking money from Gaddafi, going to Libya, begging him for millions so that he can get elected, only to go and bomb him. That is, this guy is the lowest politician that you could possibly think of. The lowest of the low, the scum of the earth, really. Jesus, who needs enemies with friends like that? Truly, Gaddafi went to Paris and Sarkozy was calling him a brother and all this stuff. Disgusting, man. They stabbed him 50 times in the back. There's nothing Gaddafi did that warrants what happened to him being lynched like that. They lynched him literally, but in the full sense, of the term. They lynched him. They mutilated him. They executed him. You're telling me, it's about democracy. Democracies don't lynch people. If you believe in democracy, you don't lynch someone. Even if you know they're guilty, you go through a trial, you give him a fair trial. Where was his due process? You're behaving worse than him, according to what you say he's doing in this. You're worse than him. You're a million times worse.